Hi, I'm Adriana Mitchell. I'm an immigration attorney in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I practice immigration law nationwide. And today I decided to go live to talk about the new rules regarding the public charge. Because a lot of my clients had questions about that. I got a lot of phone calls, and actually, this morning I talked about that during my radio program at Radio La Única. This is a radio show that I have in Spanish every Friday, but I didn't have the opportunity to talk to English-speaking clients. So this is why I'm live right now to talk a little bit about the public charge. Probably some of you already heard about that, and also I think the people who watch the news had the opportunity to see that now this rule is going to be in effect in nationwide. The only state where the public charge rule is not going to be in effect is Illinois. But we are here, we are in Pennsylvania. I'm practicing, and I have a lot of clients in New Jersey. I have a lot of clients in Delaware. I have some clients in New York. And all these people are going to be subject to the public charge. When I say all these people, who I'm talking about actually? I'm talking about people who are going to adjust status in the United States. That means people who are going to apply to get their green card through a spouse or through a child who's a US citizen, people who are trying to change their status, people who are here on a student visa and who are going to try to get a green card. They are always also subject to this public charge. So okay, this is basically the category most affected by the public charge. Who is not affected though? So the public charge does not apply to people who are already citizens by naturalization, so people who became citizens here in the United States. Public charge does not apply to people who already have a green card, so they are safe. Also, this public charge is not going to apply to people who are renewing DACA. Is not going to apply to people who are refugees or asylees. Is not going to apply to people who have TPS. It's not going to apply to people who have T visas or U visas. Hi, I have to say hi to somebody. Hi, Hilda, how are you? I'm glad to see that you are watching, and thank you. So these are people who are not subject to the public charge. So just keep in mind, if you're an asylee, if you're a refugee, if you are a TPS holder, if you are a T or U visa beneficiary, you don't have to worry about that, okay? But unfortunately, if you want to get a green card through your wife or to your kid, you are going to be subjected to that. Another thing that I would like to say is that this public charge is going to become effective on February 24th, 2020. So people who are eligible and who are ready to apply right now can do it, okay? Do it because the old law is going to apply to you. You're not going to be subject to this public charge. You're not going to need to prove a lot of additional things in order to get your green card. And I will talk about these additional things that you will need to prove in a few minutes. But this is my first advice. If you're eligible, do it now. Contact a lawyer, contact one of these organizations who are helping people for free. There are like other people who are like low bono. Do something because this is going to be very helpful for you. And you still have like 24 days to do it, okay? To just move very, very fast. So now, I know a lot of people were concerned, and I received this concern, calls about this concern since this summer. People are concerned that they're going to be in trouble if they receive any type of benefits. A lot of people call me and say, oh, what is going to happen with my kid medical insurance? What is going to happen? I don't know, I receive food stamps. Should I cut my health insurance? I receive health insurance through Obamacare, and I'm afraid that some immigration is going to be involved in my case. First of all, like I said, if you are in one of the categories that I spoke about, like if you're an SILE, if you're a refugee, if you're a T visa, U visa, you don't have to worry about that, okay? Keep your benefits. Also, if you receive benefits for your spouse, for your husband, wife, who is a citizen or a resident, if you receive benefits for your children who are United States citizens, you don't have to worry much about. Talk to a lawyer, and they are going to analyze your situation. But in most of the cases, if the benefits are received by a citizen, unless this is the only money that comes to your house, that's not going to be a problem, okay? Most of the time. So my advice is, don't take it for granted. Don't say, oh yeah, the lawyer on the internet told me that, yeah, there is not a problem, everything is fine. What I'm saying is, do not renounce your benefits unless you talk to somebody. Like, talk to somebody first. Try to check. I know, for example, in Philadelphia, there is like the legal services have a very good attorney who's willing to help you and advise you and explain to you what benefits you can apply for, what benefits you can keep, and so forth. So if you want more information, try to contact her or try to contact me. Call my office, say, I'm interested in this public charge and benefits and stuff like that, and I'll provide you the information of this legal services so they can help you. Another thing is, most of the benefits that are subject to public charge are cash benefits, okay? Like if you receive permanent assistance in the form of cash, like if you receive money and it's for yourself, that will be subject to the public charge. That will be held against you when you try to get your green card. But very important, a lot of people who are not residents don't even qualify for this type of benefits. So if you don't even qualify for these benefits, that means you never got them. And that means when you are going to apply to get your green card, you're not going to have a problem. But again, check. Make sure you check, but I think you shouldn't be so worried and you should not renounce your benefits. Nobody wants to see children of immigrants starving. Nobody wants to see people not going to the hospital or to the doctors. I think this is absolutely wrong. You have to continue to do what you're doing. But, talk to somebody just to make sure. Okay, that's my advice. Another thing that I want you to keep in mind is that, for example, if somebody goes to the emergency room and receive assistance for that, this is not going to count for public charge purposes, okay? CHIP, the medical insurance for the kids, is not included. Also, SNAP, food stamps, they are not included. WIC is not included. So all these things you have to keep in mind that you can still get. Also, the educational assistance, like if you have a kid in public school, okay, that's not going to be a problem. It's not going to expose you. You're not going to become a public charge for that. You are not. You can just do it, okay? So basically, this is like Social Security, insurance, this type of thing. Yes. All the other things that I just talked about, no. Another thing that I think it's important, if you receive unemployment benefits, these are not subject to public charge, okay? Like you have the right to receive unemployment is based on, your contribution, you're safe, you're good, you don't have to worry about. Another thing that is very, very important is that a lot of these benefits are not going to be counted retroactively. So the new rule comes into effect on February 24th. So they have to calculate like you are going to be subject to the public charge if you received these benefits for 12 consecutive months during a 36 months period. But they're not going to be able to calculate this for some benefits that you receive before, for the most benefits that you receive before this February 24, 2020 date. So that's another thing that might be helpful. I'm not sure I was very clear with that, but what I'm trying to say is that they can count the benefit, they may count some benefits that you receive, but it's not going to be so strong because they cannot calculate all these 12 months. You don't have 12 months from the moment that the law, like let's say the law is going to come into effect in February and you apply for your residency in April, okay? It's going to be February, March, April, only 3 months. So if you receive these benefits, you're going to receive it only for 3 months, so they are not going to be able to calculate for 12 months. I'm not sure it's clear, honestly. I'm not sure, but if you need more information, just call my office and we can talk about that, or ask me some questions. You can ask me right now and I'll try to clarify. Okay, so don't worry so much about the benefits. It's not necessarily going to kill your chances to get the adjustment of status. Okay, but what worries me more as an attorney and as a person who's representing immigrants on a daily basis is the fact that now they're going to consider a ton of factors in making a determination if one is going to become a public charge. And honestly, they're looking at some of these factors before, but now they made it just more explicit. So there are like 20 different factors that they are going to take into consideration when they are going to determine if somebody is a public charge or not. And we start with age. So if somebody is younger than 18 or older than 61, they might say, oh, that's a negative factor because this person is not going to be able to get a job, or, he might get sick and things like that. So age, negative factor. Health conditions. If you have a medical condition that is likely to require extensive care, or institutionalization, or will interfere with your ability to work, that might become a problem. It's a negative factor. Future medical costs. If they determine that in the future you don't have enough money to cover for future medical costs, you cannot afford insurance, things like that, another negative factor. If you're not insured, if you don't have medical insurance and you do not have the prospect of obtaining insurance, that's another negative factor. Family size, which I think from my perspective is sort of wrong, but actually all of them are wrong. But if you have a larger family, negative factor. They'll say, oh, you're not going to have enough money, you'll need to get benefits, public benefits, bad, negative factor. Also, if your income is above 125% the poverty line, you are good. If it's lower than that, that's going to be a negative factor. It might affect you. So that's going to be a problem. I think this 125% above poverty line, it's calculated by the government. There is like a chart that you can find online. Just Google, poverty line 2019, and you'll find it, and you'll see per each category, like it's calculated based on how many people are living in a household. So you can find that online. So just to get an idea, if you're above the poverty line, with 125% poverty line or below that. Also, if being poor is a negative factor, being rich is a positive, of course. So if you make 2.5 times more money that the poverty line is you're gonna have like a strong case against you being determined as a public charge. Like your risk of becoming a public charge is going to be low. So this is a heavily weighted positive factor. So if you make a lot of money, this is going to be in your advantage. Unfortunately, I think, I might be wrong, but I think unfortunately a lot of people who live here for years and are undocumented are not making so much money. So this heavily weighted positive factor might not be really something that a lot of people will be able to argue when they'll try to convince the officer that actually they are not at risk of becoming a public charge in the future. Also, the immigration is going to look at the financial liabilities of the person. What does it mean? That they're going to see if you have unpaid loans, if you have debt, if you didn't pay your child support, if you have credit card debt. This wasn't the case. This is new, totally new. Now nobody was looking at this. Nobody was asking you for any, credit history or anything like that, or like that. This is changing, unfortunately. So they will look and they will say, oh, this person makes some money, is healthy, is young, everything is good, but oh my God, he has a lot of debt. So in the future, he might not be able to pay the debt and he might become a public charge. He might try to get benefits and so forth. So this is a problem. But we are talking about positive factors. Another positive factor will be if somebody has health insurance, okay? And it's heavily weighted. So if you have health insurance, that's going to be counted in your favor. Here I have a caveat, like the insurance must be private insurance and not a subsidized plan under Obamacare. Okay, so if you have a husband or a wife and you're on that person's insurance, that will help you a little bit to demonstrate that you're not a public charge risk. Also, they will gonna look like another factors that right now are not counted, like education. They are gonna look at your skills, if you have any qualifications, this type of things. Like if you have, I don't know, diplomas, or if you're in college or things like that. Even if you are not making a lot of money now, they might say, oh yeah, but actually this person is not making a lot of money now, but he's starting to become, I don't know, a doctor or accountant or a nurse. So that might be a positive, and that might help you a little bit to show that you're not going to become a public charge. Okay, so another thing is the knowledge of English language. This video is in English, so I suspect this is not really very important for the people who are watching me, because you probably are able to, understand English. But that's going to be a challenge for some other people who are not fluent in English. Like we all know that we have a lot of Hispanics in the area. I represent a lot of Hispanics. Some of them speak some English. I think most of them understand English, but I think not a lot of them are going to be able to show such a high level of proficiency. So that might be an issue. And so this is all these factors that I was talking about. You might think, how are they gonna evaluate that? So first is gonna be a sort of like totality of circumstances approach, that they will look at each factor and they will say, yeah, he's good at that, he's not as good at that, he doesn't make money but he has the education, he's not healthy but he has health insurance, and things like to get it looks like my network went down, so I don't know if you hear that, but I was talking about the declaration of self-sufficiency. So this form will have to contain all this information about education, about health insurance, about language skills, about credit. All this information will be in this form. And we'll also need to provide all the documents. If you say, oh, I'm studying to become a nurse, you will have to provide proof that you're enrolled in school. You will have to provide tax returns to show your income. You will have to provide credit reports to show that or not. If you don't have that, you don't, but you have to provide them. If you're not able to provide a credit report, you'll need to explain why. If you say, oh, I speak English and I'm proficient, you'll have to provide documents like diplomas, I don't know, like proof that you completed classes, something like that. So unfortunately, that's gonna be a lot more work for the lawyer, and it's gonna be a lot more work for the immigrants. It's like right now it's not very easy because you still need a lot of information, and the forms are getting longer and longer and longer. But now we're gonna have an additional form, and we'll need to collect all the supporting documents. And let me tell you right now, that means that probably the lawyer will be forced to charge more, and the immigrants are going to be forced to pay more. And I'm sorry to say that, and I will like that. I will love that we'll be able to do everything for free for everybody, but unfortunately, this is the reality. This is what we're doing for a living, and this is how, this is how we pay our bills, and this is how we try to not become a public charge ourselves. Okay, so that's part of it. So in addition to these factors, somebody who applies for a green card needs a sponsor. And I'll explain to you a little bit what a sponsor is. This exists right now, so people who already have a green card probably know. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you are married with a US citizen, and your spouse is going to help you to get a green card. Your husband will file a petition, but he or she will also be your sponsor. So he's taking the responsibility. He's taking a responsibility. He's gonna be like the one who say, I'm taking, the obligation. I'm assuming the obligation of supporting that person until he gets on his own feet. So this is the process that is going on right now, and it's still going to be required. The problem appears when the spouse doesn't make enough money. Let's think sometimes, you have a spouse who stays home with a kid, or is disabled or something like that, or is retired, doesn't make enough money. So because the sponsor has to be somebody who makes 125% above the poverty line for the family. And if that person makes less, you will need a co-sponsor. You will need another person to file the same documents, so you can have enough money. So you can show, like, instead of having one person who's going to show, who's taking responsibility, I'm going to support this immigrant and I'm going to provide until he gets on his feet, you will need two people, at least. Usually it's two people though. So you'll need the spouse. Even if the spouse makes $0, is still the main sponsor. And you'll need a second sponsor. And so far everything was relatively smooth. I've seen people using, brothers, sisters, friends, employers as a co-sponsor with no real problem. But now, what is changing is immigration is going to look at the relationship between the co-sponsor and the person who's asking for the green card. And they might say, you know what, I don't think it's likely that this co-sponsor is going to actually support the intended immigrant, the green card applicant. We don't think that, boss or friend or whoever, stepkid is really going to provide if the immigrant is not going to have enough money to support himself. And yeah, that might become a problem. That might become a problem, even though, and I spoke about that this morning in my during my radio show. I do not think an immigrant who comes here and who gets a green card is really the type of person who is going to try to get money from a co-sponsor to support himself. I think most of the immigrants, probably 99% of the immigrants are actually happy. The second they see that green card in their hands, they run to get a job or 2 jobs or 3 jobs because they are finally able to work. and to use their full potential and their full capacity and to make money and to support their family. But unfortunately, the presumption that the government makes is that no, you might become a public charge, and that's unfortunate, but that's gonna be an issue. So the news are not great. This is just an overview. If you want like individual analysis of your situation, definitely contact a lawyer. You can contact me, I can help. Just call my office, 877728 1496, and schedule a consultation. If you have additional questions, send me a message on Facebook, and I will try to answer as soon as I can. Try to keep it as general as you can, because I do not want to have you put very, very private information on Facebook, and you understand why. This data is not confidential, it's just there in the air. I don't want anybody to know your business, to find your business, and it's gonna be against my professional rules to engage in this type of communication. So if you want an analysis of your precise situation and you want to know exactly what's going on in your specific case and what your chances are and all these things, schedule a consultation. We can talk face to face, confidentially. I close my office door and it's between you and me, and it's just private, okay? And that's very important for many reasons. Maybe one day I'll talk about that. But if you want me to clarify something, because I know this video is probably very long, I ramble a lot, the issue is complicated, actually not so complicated, but there are like a lot of little moving pieces in this picture. So if you are confused by what I was saying, if you are like, I don't know what that lawyer is talking about, she said something about this sponsor, co-sponsor, what is that? Or she was talking about this 125%, I don't understand that. Just, shoot me a message, ask me a question, and I will be more than happy to help and to clarify. I can come back and make another video. I don't know. I've done it for in other cases when I was talking about other topics. But this is pretty much it. And so just to summarize, and then I'm just gonna let you go. If you are ready to apply for adjustment of status and you're eligible, do it now. Just to avoid more hassle. Do it before February 24, 2020. Contact your lawyer, contact whoever you think can help. Try to not use notarios or friends or people you met, I don't know, on forums and stuff like that, because it's very risky. You might get rejected and you might become subject to public charge, and you are also going to lose the fee, and the fees are not very, very low. Like, they already charge a lot. They charge almost more than $1,200 for a adjustment of status, and we expect that any day the fees are going to go up, so you might need to pay more to fix something that wasn't done right. So try to find somebody that you can trust. Try to find like a competent person who can help you with that. I can definitely help you, but like I said, it's your option. You can come to me, you can go, maybe you have a lawyer already, maybe you know somebody, I don't know. But try to use qualified people that can help you. And the other thing, do not cut the benefits without talking to somebody. I understand you're worried. I understand you want to do things by the book. I understand you don't want to risk anything, but it might not be any risk. It might be just fear. And while I understand that, I don't think the fear should prevent us to claim our rights and to get what we deserve. And I think this is the whole thing. And for me, the most important is, to be honest, when I see people trying to cut benefits for their kids, thinking that they're not eligible or they're going to be deported and stuff like that. This is not true, okay? So don't panic. don't panic, act rationally, but act. Okay, so that was it. Thank you for watching me. Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Patty. There are some other people, some friends of mine. See you soon. Give me a call if you want to talk more about your situation. 877-728-1496. Schedule a consultation. I'm located in Center City, Philadelphia, but we can talk on the phone. I will use a secure line. We can talk by video. Also, I'm going to use a secure line. Or, like I said, shoot me a message. And if you have a general question about the whole public charge thing, I will definitely help, and I will definitely try to clarify. Okay? So see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.